Hello YouTube world and my returning subscribers, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, we're going to go ahead and go over the BIQU 3D printer. Now, as you saw in the clip, we're going to go ahead and make this from a single filament to a dual filament. So I'm going to show you how I upgraded my 3D printer, and if you have one of these printers, you can do the same. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's look over the 3D printer itself. As you can see, it's been sitting around and really doing any printing with it. See the dust on the wheels and stuff. So what I suggest, if you're doing an upgrade like this and you haven't used your printer in a while, as you go through the printer and install stuff, why not clean? Look, that's just horrible. I'm sorry, printer. Let's go ahead and get that taken care of. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and see what we have for parts here. So we have the stepper motor that pulls in the filament, feeds it to the printhead, which has the two filaments going into it. We got the little bracket that holds the filament itself, and we got all the accessories here that we need. Looks like a cable that goes from the board to the stepper motor here. I guess we would just use the same one. I wonder if we use the same cable for this, the micro C. Anyways, so we have the stepper motor controller inside the bag, inside an anti-static bag. Got some zip ties, some mounting screws, and looks like filament holder as far as the pitot tubes that they use. Not sure what those are. We'll find out. And we got some extra screws here. Alright, well, let's go ahead and start off with the stepper motor. That way we can start off at the bottom and don't have to flip it over to get to this. We want to do this guy, then we want to do the head, I'm guessing. Then we'll do stepper motor, and then the last thing we'll do is the filament. But I'm winging it here, we'll see. Alright, like I said before, in a previous video where I upgraded the Z motor, you want to take off your screws and go ahead, and I had two other screws here, but I didn't put them in because, I was going to upgrade the heads like I'm going to do now. So once I'm done, then I'll go ahead and put those in like they belong. Alright, now that I got it open, stepper motor will fit right here. I'm going to have to fit in a way, or put it in there in a way that doesn't interfere with this, but in the same time I don't have to cut those wires, the zip tie there. So the way I think it goes, based on what I'm looking at from all the other stepper motors, is that the trim pot resistor goes to the left, and you have your three holes that hover over these two holes. I'm guessing that's for like an upgrade or something, maybe extra power. I don't know what it's for. I'll explore that later. But anyways, so let's go ahead and put that in there. Same orientation as these guys, and then we will plug in the cable down here for that stepper motor. Right now, as you can see, I have it in. Looks like the rest of them could pass the right side, trim pot on the left. Three holes, everything looks good. Now we just got to figure out how the cable goes for the stepper motor in there. I see key slots, but is the cable keyed? That's the question. Okay, looking at the cable, it is slotted, but good thing is it's like the colors of the other cable. So if you look at this cable here, it's black, green, blue, and red. Same thing here. So it was like the stepper motor when I did the upgrade, which is this guy here, same colors. So let's go ahead and put that cable. I'm gonna go ahead and zip tie it, and the next thing we're gonna do is install the printhead. Yeah, we'll do the printhead first, see how that works. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove the screw and the USB-C cable from the head. I'll pop in the new one and figure out how to separate it from the filament. I don't know if I should turn it on and run it through, since I'm not going to keep the head anyways, or I'll keep it, but I'll use it for a different experiment later on, making filament with it. Alright, so let's go ahead and get that started. Okay guys, I wasn't able to take off the tube from the print head, so we're gonna have to extract whatever filament's inside there. So pretty sure you know how to do this step, but if not, go ahead and turn on your nozzle. I'm gonna put it at 225. And then what you're gonna want to do is have it retract backwards. So you go to menu, and then we're gonna go to extrude, and we're gonna hit upload. Once it hits its critical temperature right here, right now it's at 6473, and it has to hit 225. Okay, right now I see the filament coming out of the nozzle there, so I think we hit the good temperature. So let's go ahead and start retracting back the filament. Okay, I guess it broke off. Yeah, it did break off. So I have a piece, but it's still retracting backwards. And now it's stuck. You hear that? It's stuck. Well, I think it's pulled it enough away from the head that, yeah, I guess I can turn this off now. I don't need this anymore. Let's... Okay, we'll just let that cool down, and then we'll go ahead and turn it off, and then we'll see about how we can extract the filament from the back part of the printer, since it looks like it pulled it out enough. But yeah, stuff becomes kind of brittle in places, I guess. I don't know, it bends. I just don't know why it broke off in 2 points. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove the head. I'm using the drill bit to remove it. Kind of like didn't tighten it. There's one screw. There's two. And it's magnetized, so it sticks pretty well to it. Okay, now see, the head's off, and now we can put on a new one. Okay, now that I have removed the filament, I was able to pull it out, got it unstuck. Now we can pull out the tube. I've already pulled the one out on the side of the print head. But for some reason this side doesn't want to come off. I'm pushing a little thing in. Okay, so what I'm going to just do is I'm going to unscrew it. And then pull it out this way. Well, it wants to go in more, but it doesn't want to come out. And the thing is, you're supposed to be able to push on this black part, and it's supposed to release the tension on the springs. Okay, well, if all else fails, I can always push the tube fully forward and then put it back in. I think that's what I'm going to do. So, okay, so I was able to get the blue tubing out, and I put the tubing lock back on. So now you just do it like your other print head. Put it through the hole, It has that little area to hold it. And then I got my mag tool mixer right here. There you go, there's one. Alright, let's get the other one in. There's two. Okay. Now that we got the print head in, we're going to eventually get this tube in. I have the length of the other one still, so I kind of know how long it should be. But for this side of the actuator, or line feeder, filament feeder, you want this print head as high as possible, and for the top one you're going to want this as low as possible. And that's why I don't like it to be up there, but that's the only option that I have for right now until I print a bracket for this side to hold the other stepper motor just like this. Okay, so the next thing to work on is the stepper motor. Okay, so to slide the stepper motor in, you're going to have to take off this little plastic piece here at the end and remove the two screws. That was just the torque of the wrench. Guess I had these torqued down a little too tight. So I had it at 15 pounds. Okay, I already put the little brackets on. And then you're just going to slide it in. Okay, now it's slid in, it's going to be hard to tighten it as is. So what you're going to have to do is remove the screws and that way you can pull off the stepper motor and then tighten up the bracket and then put the stepper motor back in. That's why I don't like this design, but that's what we have for now. Okay, now that we have the stepper motor on, we're going to go ahead and stick the bracket on. You want the bracket filament holder painting towards you this way, because the hole is right here. The feed side. I have the screws kind of just a little bit loose so I can wiggle it in and have it as tight as possible, because I realized on these guys it's less complicated to try to screw this when it retains pressure against the plate already. You don't have it spinning inside of there. But I might have on this one had this one a little bit too much. So what I'm going to do is loosen one side up, this side over here, because that's the side that's stuck, just a little bit. Okay, interesting. I don't know what it's stuck on. It was stuck here in the holes where the screw goes through. Okay, so we'll butt it up to where you put your screw, and we'll do a little quick check here. Okay, see, so we have plenty of space in between the bracket here and this screw. So we can move it until these buck up against this if we wanted to. And it depends on the size of the spool, so adjust accordingly. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and tighten this guy up. I'll take off the stepper motor, tighten it up. I mean, it's kind of under a little bit tight, but I would like to see a little bit more tightness and non-movement. We don't want to introduce problems here. Okay. Okay, once you tighten everything down, you want to screw in your blue tube holder. I don't know what these things are called, but you're going to put that in, and like I said, for this top side, you want your print head as low as possible and have your tubing accordingly. Okay. See, way too long. Well, no, it would be if it was all the way down in the bed, so we gotta lower the print head all the way down to the bed. Okay, so to move the print head all the way down, I'm pretty sure there's a different way than what I'm about to show you, but what I do is menu, movement, leveling, and then I unlock it. And now what I do is I turn one of the turn screws for the Z-axis till it goes down to where I need it to go. Okay. Now let's see. Oh yeah, this tube is a little too long. So I'm gonna cut about 1 inch off because I want this to be like about right there. Not fully taut, but just a little S-bend to it. So let me go find something to cut this tube that doesn't bend it. Alright guys, I made a little mistake on the video. So I had told you guys that, you know, let's go ahead and cut the tube with it being center here. Big mistake. What you want to do is make sure that your print head is to the furthest left and farthest down when you cut this tube. Because what ends up happening, if you do it straight from the center, it ends up pulling on this top part. So I had to go ahead and buy another tubing so I could fix that problem. So let's go ahead and install that, and then I'll show you the print that I did. What I love about this is that it's super simple to install. All you have to do is just pop in your tube. It spring loads it. You know, to disconnect it, all you have to do is just push on this little black button here, push it up, and pull the tube down. Pops out. Simple as possible. Now, as you can see, I lowered down the print head to its lowest position, down and to the left. So I'm going to cut the tube about right here. Let's make that a little longer. So about right there is where I'm going to cut it, because you got to remember the tube takes about 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch inside when you insert it into the red port here. And again, same thing, you know, when you have the tube, you push this down and pull on the tube and it pops out the tube. I love this system here. Okay, now that I have the tube cut, all you got to do is just insert. Okay, and you just push it in, the little springs in there will catch it, and voila. I still need to tighten this head up. I need to take apart the stepper motor so that way I can tighten up the bolts that the motor blocks. So that's the only way to tighten it. Okay, now that I have everything assembled, let's go over a few things. So I love this print head. It's better than the original that came in. I'm able to print with temperatures of 180 on the PLA. where I was never able to do that before on the original printhead. I had to print at 220 and 230 degrees. So it would go past the recommended temperature. I don't know if that was just an error on the sensor or just the printhead itself, but this one is way better. One problem that I have though, and I don't know if it's because of the length of the blue tube for the first primary filament, is that getting it in requires me to kind of move it around. And I don't know if it's because it's the old filament that's giving me such a problem. It's not bending and flexing right. One of the problems I have with the old filament is that it just breaks as it's printing. So if you're using old filament, that's one thing you have to be patient with and work with, is that it'll break on you. Now I'm hoping that when I get new filaments, then that problem will subside, but I'll find out. If not, I may have to cut this tube shorter. I don't think it's a too long problem. I don't think it's a too short problem. I think it's a too long problem as far as the tube. So we'll go ahead and cut that down. If not, and I messed that up, well, I got extra tubing that I ordered because I needed to fix this, as you saw from earlier. This is the SpaceX landing leg. It printed very well. Here's the other copy. I'm just removing the supports. So the filament works great once it's printed, but you know, getting it to this point is not an easy task, especially if the filament breaks. I have to reload it. I have to pop this blue tube out, you know, shove it in there. I also had to clear out the tube too, so I had to use this guy here to unblock it while it was on. I removed the 4mm nozzle that it has on there, and while it was still hot, I stuck that in there. The filament stuck to the tip here. I broke it off, did it again, broke it off. I did it one more time, broke it off, and the third time the rod went right through to the other side up here. So I don't know why that got clogged again. I think it's just bad filament, but you know, you can work with it if you're patient. If you're not, I wouldn't suggest using old filament. I may have the same problem there. So what I'm going to do is run out these filaments. Once I do, I'll order some new ones, and then I'll do a part 2 on this video and show you what it looks like to dual print the colors. But for right now, I'm only going to single print, get rid of these, and then use new filament, and then see how this system works. If you want to help out with my channel and help me get those filaments sooner, that way I can do another video, go ahead and go down below and go ahead and donate if you can. Alright, well, that's it with this printer. This is how you upgrade the BIQU with the dual head prints. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and have a wonderful day. Alright, if you guys are still watching, just as a bonus video, you're gonna see me how I set this up. I use a glue stick. Since I've already printed, I know just where to apply the glue. I'm not going to apply it everywhere, just where it's needed. That should do. Okay, I select the file that I want printed. We'll just wait for it to heat up. Again, like I said, I have it at 180. And the bed is at 60. And if you have a BIQU, of course you know how long that takes. One thing I do love though is how the new Cura software makes printing a lot easier on this printer. I'm going to try connecting the printer to the Cura, see if I can update the printer that way. I'm pretty sure somebody will leave a comment as far as a better way of upgrading. Please do. For right now, that's all I know how to upgrade it. There's another way through the menus here. You got to download the firmware to the SD card and stuff. I'll probably explore that option later time. If anybody knows a good software to upgrade this to, please let me know down in the comments below. Right now, I still have the original one that came with the printer. On one of the previous videos, there was a subscriber that did give me a suggestion on what software to use, but I don't know if that's still valid or if there's even a better version of that than now. But yeah, like I said, I do love this printhead. It is awesome. Now all I got to do is just, adjust this right, and we should be good to go. Just waiting for it to heat up. One thing I don't like, it first heats up the bed, and then it'll start heating up the printhead. What I normally do is I go to more, and I start increasing the temperature here, so that way they both heat up at the same time. I would like to see that on a firmware or software upgrade too, because waiting for one to heat up and then waiting for the other, it just takes forever. Oh yeah, and another thing I gotta figure out is how to quit doing this part where it pre-drips out the filament, which can be good in some cases, but I think it just wastes filaments, and then it gets caught in your print. So if you're not here to watch it, it'll drag it along. Let's zoom in on that so you can see the fine detail that this printer does. Oh, it just lays it down beautifully. Now, I've seen on other videos they don't recommend 4mm nozzles due to the Cura upgrade, but I still say it works great, so I'm still going to continue to use it. I'll try the 6mm like they suggested in a later video, but for now I'm going to use a 0.4 till I see otherwise why I shouldn't. Alright guys, well that's the bonus video to this video. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.